I was talking to Katie McMillan here about Jazz Maui Camp, and it's got such a great story, and I'm so excited about what you're doing because I have a passion for music, and I really do think music also helps change in the world. And Jazz Maui is presenting the 4th annual East Meets West Festival. It's going to be so much going on. There's going to be jazz concerts, there's going to be classes, and there's going to be workshops from June 23rd through June 30th at lots of venues throughout Maui. And there's going to be this great film, Keep On Keepin' On, which is a film about how Clark Terry worked with a blind piano prodigy. And then there's going to be this concert on June 29th at the McCoy. Now, you have an amazing story too, Katie. Tell me about the story of how you found and how Jazz Maui Camp was started with you.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And yes, we're so excited about the whole week. I first got hooked up with Jazz Maui because my step-grandma moved to Maui a few years ago, and I visited her once, and I was just so taken by all the people there and the whole scene. And then I kind of was thinking, I need to find a way to get back and play music next time, because that's what I do. I'm a musician. So with the great help of some friends and support in the area, we put a concert on at the McCoy Theater a little over 2 years ago with my trio, which is Matt Whittick on drums and Justin Kauflin, and Bryant Neal from Jazz Maui and Arts Education Children's Group said he does camps, and he said he wanted to see if we would help him put together a jazz camp with this same trio as being the teachers. And we said, yeah, kind of hoping that it would happen, but not sure that it would. And it actually all came to fruition, and it's going to be such a great week with the mix of, we have kids coming from the mainland, and then we're going to have kids from Maui and Oahu all getting together and playing with each other. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it is, and, I was just talking a few moments ago about how important books are to children. Well, for me also, music is life-changing for children, and jazz is very interesting because, jazz has gone through so many evolutions, right? How it's changed, but to be able to have something that is kind of so progressive and interesting interact with the child's mind. How do you approach that, and how do you kind of get them involved in something that is kind of a very kind of advanced way of thinking?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's kind of like getting kids involved, doing something without them even knowing it, playing a piece of music and just say, all right, why don't you sing that, or play it back to me, and not having to tell them what the notes are or what key it's in or the rhythm, and just having them start to build that confidence in trusting themselves and just using their ear, and most of all having fun with it, because I've found as a student myself and as a musician, when I'm having fun, everything is so much more easy, and then you don't even know that you're, quote, learning something. You're just having fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're doing this with a man named Justin Kauflin, right? And,
yeah.
And he had an album out last year called Coming Home, and I don't know how he got hooked up with Quincy Jones, but my gosh, how cool is that? And that's a pretty nice person to be able to have help you. So he's also going to be teaching with you?
Yeah, he's going to be there as well, and he's a fantastic educator and player, of course. And we've done teaching and workshops together in the past, and we all just have that same great passion for teaching and passing on the knowledge, because we all got that growing up over the years. And for those of you listening, if you come to the film screening on Thursday, June 27th at King K Performing Arts Center, you'll get to see this awesome movie, Keep On Keepin' On, which is all about his relationship with his mentor, Clark Terry, great trumpet player.
Clark Terry was definitely one of the greats, and so he got to work with Clark Terry.
Yeah, he worked with Clark Terry when he studied in college at William Patterson a few years ago, maybe over 10 years ago, and just struck a great relationship with him. And as students, when we're younger, and it goes for any profession or any art form, and you're around these great musicians and great mentors, sometimes you're a little shy to approach them, or you're not sure what to ask them. but they've seen it all. I mean, he was in Count Basie's band and Duke Ellington's band. That's Clark Terry, and Justin really saw that opportunity to just soak everything up and learn. Even, if you're a little scared to approach somebody, but, it turned out he's an absolute, Clark Terry was a sweetheart. Mm-hmm. So just being around those people just automatically enhances, your own musicality just by asking questions and playing with them.
So let me get this straight to be kind of clear. Then he also plays with you. He's going to be teaching, but is he the blind child that worked with Clark Terry in this movie or not?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So when did you connect with him and a couple of the other people? Sheryl, there's going to be a great lineup that is going to be at that concert on Saturday, June 29th. That's after the movie shows, which includes you, the Katie Thiroux Trio. And is that with Justin Kauflin and Matt Whittick?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's also going to be Paul Contos and Sheryl Renee?
Yes.
Well, and our very own Kathy Collins, who actually works on our other station here, will be emceeing it, and she's wonderful.
Fabulous.
So what's exciting about that, too, is there's going to be a pre-show on that night, the 29th, at the McCoy with the Jazz Maui camp students. That's going to start at 5:30, right?
Yes, and we're really excited about that. We've all been to camps and taught at camps, and our main goal is to get them playing as much as possible because that's what they're there to do. So we're happy. They're going to do a pre-show, and then we might have a few students come and join us during the actual concert on stage to kind of feel what that's like to play with these musicians on stage. And it's, you only get these chances every once in a while. So I'm so excited for them to get to experience this.
Well, definitely how exciting. So what is the prerequisite to get into this Jazz Maui camp that's going to be happening starting on the 23rd, which is really just around the corner?
Okay, are you ready to hear the prerequisite?
Yes.
All it is that you have an instrument. And,
really?
And that's pretty much it. That's what my intention was to have kids who have instruments and love to play, and maybe if they don't even know about jazz or they've heard the word or maybe played a little bit in their big band, we're really looking forward to working with students from all levels, because that's what I really love to do. I love to take beginners and kind of walk them through the steps into playing jazz and then learning songs and starting to improvise. Because, like I was saying in the beginning, if you just kind of show them a little bit here and there without really telling them what's going on, and then by the end of the week, it's like they've grown leaps and bounds.
So what age groups does this include?
This is going to be, I believe, just high school. Maybe there's a little bit of college as well. So 9th grade through, first, second year in college.
And even if they don't have an instrument, most of these people would. You could always rent an instrument from Bounty Music here. They rent instruments out. So
exactly.
Yeah, you could still show up. Now, what about the cost?
I'm actually not so sure about that because luckily I don't have to take care of those details.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, jazzmaui.org knows. If you go to
that's right.
If you go to jazzmaui.org, and it's interesting because I had to actually look this one up. But it's going to be, and I was kind of trying to figure out what the location was for this camp. And it's at the Maui Preparatory. I'm getting a hard time with that. But the Maui Prep School, and I didn't know where that was, so I actually had to Google it, and it's over in Kaanapali.
Yeah, and actually we had to change locations because they're doing construction, so we're going to be at Kihei Charter High.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's actually easier for people because it's a lot closer.
On Monday and Tuesday, and then we're actually having another public event on Wednesday, June 26th. For the public, we're going to do an open workshop and rehearsal.
Where's that going to be?
At King K High.
Oh, up there. Okay, all right. Well, and I've heard, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard there's a beautiful performing arts center up there that's just beautiful, and it's fairly new, and a lot of people haven't been up there yet for that.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's Thursday, June 27th. I said Wednesday.
Oh, and that's the day of the movie.
Yeah, so we're doing an open clinic before the movie, so people can come earlier and see what goes on when we're going to clinic the King K Big Band. And then I love taking questions from the audience, too, because sometimes people who just love music but are non-musicians, they kind of, hey, they want to know what's going on, too. You know, what's happening when we're soloing or choosing songs, just kind of any sorts of questions. We really, really welcome that. And that's going to be a fun day at King K High on Thursday, June 27th.
So if you're interested in that, is that still best to go to, you know, on that one, you still would go to the site, jazzmaui.org, to get involved in that?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that open, or do you have to pay for that?
I think it's a low fee. I think it's only $10 for the whole day.
Oh, really? Well, that is a good deal. You know, there's something interesting, because I'm a frustrated musician. I'm a composer and lyricist, and I put out 6 CDs, but a lot of them, I have to have other people do them. But I do know, you know, following music, and especially through supporting it in the radio for many, 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 many years, is that the jazz really is something that opens a higher form of communication and telepathy of sorts between people. There's an amazing magic that happens when you're playing jazz together that is a little different than other forms of music. And so when people get a chance to come in out of nowhere, and I fell in love with this movie that made a deep impression with me. I don't know if you saw the Yo-Yo Mom movie on him creating a group and traveling to countries where he didn't speak the language, and people just got together and played all over the world.
Wow.
And didn't need any language. They didn't even, you know, they just, when they sat down to play, they just communicated, right? And that happens, that magic happens in jazz. How did you get started in getting involved in that music and jazz?
I really loved the sound of it. I call myself one of the lucky ones, because I was a kid and I was studying classical music. And I grew up in Los Angeles, and on the way to my classical bass lessons, I would turn on the radio station, and there was a great program called Bebop in the Mornings that I would just, I didn't know what I was listening to, but it turned out I was listening to Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Christian without knowing it. But all I knew was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I have no idea what's going on, but I like it. And then, you know, from there, just a series of really wonderful opportunities of getting to be in ensembles and learning to play music by ear. And letting everything else come later, like the theory and the improvisation, and just kind of, I was lucky to just be able to enjoy it from the start.
But was it hard making that leap from enjoying it to actually getting, because it's not a lot of people teach jazz. A lot of teachers teach the basics or teach you how to read music, but it's hard to find a good jazz teacher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was lucky in Los Angeles. I had there was an after school kind of performing arts. Now it's pretty big, but it's called Colburn School. And I had a great teacher, Lee Seacard. And it was, I say low to no pressure, because we would learn everything as a class from the records together during class. So it was kind of like if somebody got it before you did, then they could show it to you on their instrument. So it was a nice camaraderie between everybody, between the students. And I like to do that when I teach now.
You know, that is so beautiful if you can do that, because think of how many people have done it on their own. You know, taking a piece of music and listen and listen and listen and try to figure it out, you know, but then if you have someone there to help you and show you. Yeah, absolutely makes a difference. Now, I do want to go over, because there's so much going on and it's coming up so soon. I mean, the 23rd is what, that Sunday? This Sunday?
23rd. Yeah, that's Sunday.
So people need to get on this if they want to have their child, you know, and it's just like teenagers aren't really children. So if there's people that know teenagers that want to be involved in this, we got to get the word out, because it's coming up pretty soon, June 23rd. And then it's going to be involved with all that. So the actual camp runs till what, the 22nd, or when does the camp end?
The camp starts on the 24th, and there'll be instruction through the 28th, and then there's our big bash concert at the McCoy Studio Theater on June 29th.
Okay, the 24th. Okay. So there's all these other things that are going along, and I don't want to forget to mention that there's going to be on June, let's see, there's going to be dance classes offered, which I know there's some fantastic dancers here on Maui. That's going to be in the Maury Studios at the Maui Arts and Culture Center, and San Francisco-based choreographer, I don't know how to pronounce it, is Sam May,
I think it is.
To May in 8 flow. It looks like in 8. Oh, I get it. It's a play because it has a number 8. In 8 flow, from 1 to 2 p.m. and hip hop from 3 to 4, and that's on Friday, and on June 28th, and also on Saturday, June 29th. Hip hop 10:30 to 11:30, and Rooted Rhythms 1:30 to 2:30, and a performance from 5 to 6. So that is another amazing whole group of people that can get involved, because we have some really great dancers here on Maui.
Oh, yeah.
And each dance class...
I'm hoping to get a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it's only $10, and you pay at the door. So that's a cool thing that's happening. Again, Friday, June 28th, and then Saturday, June 29th. And, of course, meanwhile, of course, the whole jazz camp is going on with you, Jazz Maui, starting in the Kihei Charter and then moving up to Kanapali, to the Maui prep there. And
I will say for parents and students or musicians listening, if you can't make the camp this year, we hope you can come next year. But please come on Thursday, June 27th. I think we're going to be starting around 4 p.m. at 4 p.m. at King K High to do this open public masterclass. And we kind of never know what happens at these things. So if you want to come, it's only $10, and then there's the screening of Keep On Keeping On. So, if you can't make it this year, come check it out. We really want to open this up to the community and invite everybody to it. So we'd love to see you there. And then, of course, the big concert on June 29th at the McCoy Studio Theater.
Yeah, and that Keep On Keeping On with Clark Terry and your fellow bandmate, was this done before you started playing with him, or did you meet him before this, or did you meet him after the making of this movie?
I met him afterwards, and it took them a couple. It's so cool, and you got to come because he's going to do a Q&A afterwards. Mm-hmm. But just the whole story of how the movie was made, I'm not going to give it away because Justin tells it much better than I do. But it took a few years to make. And the story is amazing. But I met him in 2014. We were playing at a festival together in Vail, Colorado, and it was one of those really cool moments in life where we hit it off musically. Everything was really cool, and then it turns out we became fast friends. So we met that way, and then about a year later, he contacted me and he said, "Hey, do you want to play at the Monterey Jazz Festival?"
Whoa.
with me?
Whoa!
And I was
He's like, yeah,
yeah, of course. And
that's so cool.
He had asked Matt Whittick to do it too, and he had never even heard him play live. And he was like, "Yeah, I just talked to him. He seems, so cool, So I knew it would be great."
Wow, what an opportunity!
Yeah, so that's how that happened. Yeah,
that's legendary. Well, and there's so much going on. I know there's a lot here, but people can get it all if they go to jazzmaui.org. But there's another event going on because Jazz Maui is also presenting in Lahaina on Thursday, July 4th, which is after the big concert and everything. But on July 4th, a concert in the park is happening. This is Jazz Maui putting this on at Lahaina Library, beginning at 4 p.m., and also at Jazz at the Shops from 6 to 8 at the outlets of Maui. And there's no admission fee for those concerts. So that's really great, too. And, of course, the concert in the park in Lahaina, that's going to be right before, the 4th of July fireworks and everything, too.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, because there's fireworks up there after that. So you could get down there early, as a lot of people do, to go to Lahaina. And you can just get down to the park at the beautiful Lahaina Library lawn and hear jazz starting at 4 o'clock. So that's another cool thing that's going on. I mean, my gosh, there's just like amazing things happening. And, have you done this before here on Maui?
No, this is our first time doing it together as a group, so we're really looking forward to it.
And we have to thank Bryant, of course. Bryant Neal's
Bryant Neal is
been working on putting this together, and it's quite a huge thing. And do you find it? I mean, I find it very interesting because, there's a whole nother level besides what people just listen to online, but playing for groups and like people like you, especially when you're teaching. It's a very different thing in jazz when it's being played live really, really brings people in, and it definitely changes the whole vibe and energy of everything. So I really want to encourage people to get down to the grand finale, which is happening at the McCoy, because that's a beautiful black box intimate setting at the Mac. And it will be like you're really in a club. You know, it'll get that club feeling there. Have you been there before?
Yeah, we played there a few years ago.
Yeah, it's a good setting for that.
And we're going to also have great singer Sheryl Renee with us, and we're going to have the trumpeter from Oahu, Mike Lewis, is going to be joining us, and then Paul Contos on saxophone, who's just amazing. He's actually the education director at the Monterey Jazz Festival.
Whoa.
Yes, and he's played with everybody. And he's going to be teaching with us too. So we're like really happy to have him. He's the jazz education guru. So we're so happy to have him with us.
Wow, that's so that's one is the jazz, blues, and beyond. Now, there's the concert, but before, if you want to get down there and really see what happens with this Jazz Maui camp, get down there early at 5:30 because there's going to be a lot of magic happening when these people who've been doing the camp get to perform there before the show you do, which is at showtimes at 7:30 for that. So there's a couple hours happening before the actual concert starts at 7:30 with the Jazz Maui camp. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And again, you can get tickets, of course, for that show, and God bless Kathy Collins, great MC, she'll be there. You can get that by going to mauiarts.org or call 242-SHOW, but of course no one likes to do names anymore because you can't remember. So it's 242-7469, 242, you remember the name, but then you can't figure it out on the dialing, right? 242-7469, because this is where magic happens. This is where, you see kids get inspired, you see people learning, you see connections made, you get to see what's going on, and actually see some of these amazing players get together that are really giving back by taking a lot of time here and helping others to learn. So I'm very excited about it, and I am really wanting to meet you, and I'm just thrilled that you're going to be doing your work with the kids and the camp as well, and of course that big event up at King Kekaliki High with the film, which is happening on Thursday. Keep on Keeping On is showing at 7, but it's open to people. That one starts on Thursday. At what time when people can come before the film?
At 4 p.m.
At 4 p.m. So you can come down. So you have about 3 hours before the movie there.
Yeah, come down and learn about what we're doing, and if you're, like I said, if you've got an instrument or you're non-musician, we'd love to hear your thoughts and your questions about what we do on stage, or if you would like to know more about what you want to do or ask us about music, anything. It's totally open, so we'd love to have you there on June 27th.
Well, it's a jam session for the mind, huh?
Exactly, yeah.
And so and again, this is a great way to make connections. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you've been wanting. We sometimes are pretty insular here on Maui. We get blessed because we have some great musicians who live here, but sometimes it's hard to make the connections like this. So I'm very, very grateful that you're coming and doing this, and that Bryant's putting the whole thing on. Again, the website to go to is jazzmaui.org, and I thank you so much for calling in today, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Aloha.